Hi everyone, Chels Daft here, back with a bonus video this Saturday. And if you're a regular subscriber of my channel, or you've seen one of my videos this week, you'd realise that I'm pretty much pro giving Frank Lampard longer time in the job to sort things out. Now that's just my own personal opinion. I support the Chelsea manager, I back the Chelsea manager, whoever that may be, and it's Frank Lampard. I think that he's not ever had to experience this amount of pressure, the situation of such poor form at the moment in his young fledgling managerial career. That's only, let's face it, it's only 2.5 seasons old. Hopefully he can learn from it, come out the other side and be stronger for it. But, and I do say but, there's a lot of comment being made about people being unhappy with Frank Lampard as the manager currently based on performances so far, or at least in recent weeks. And it's about time that on the channel we take a look at the other side of the argument, and it's 5 areas in particular. Frank Lampard himself, the squad, the tactics, the team selection, and in-game management. We're going to take a look at those 5 areas in depth in this particular video, so stay tuned. Drop a like on the video for me, subscribe to the channel, let's get cracking. So let's start with the first one, and it's Frank Lampard himself. And there's often a comment being made that he's an inexperienced manager who doesn't know how to deal with a level of quality of the current playing staff that he's got available to him, and he's struggling. And I do understand why people are saying that. It looks as though you've got members of the squad that don't exactly look happy. You've got members of the squad that are off their form, they're not playing well. So you do understand why people are saying it. It's sort of in response to that, though, trying to look at it from both sides. As I said at the beginning of the video, the only way you're going to get experience is by doing the job. And the only way you're going to learn from having such a bad time at the moment is to live through it and come out the other side. Hopefully, Frank Lampard will come out the other side. But we have to be honest. In the next couple of games coming up, Wolves, Burnley, Tottenham in the Premier League, he could be under pressure if Chelsea don't perform, where at least to the standard that should be the minimum, which we all know what that should be, and they've been way off, you have to say. So there are arguments about Frank being under pressure and being inexperienced, and I do understand it. People are also talking about the fact that sort of players' attitudes and their motivation levels. I mean, we can only see what we see on the training pitch in videos and what we see on the pitch in game. And let's be honest, if you're playing a game of football yourself and it's not going right for you, you're losing, you're struggling, your body language is never great. You know, we've all played football in some sort of capacity and some sort of standard, and everyone's the same. It's human emotion. So it's interesting to see if Frank can pick these players up and get them out the other side of this and all become better for it. But I do understand that point in relation to Frank Lampard being an inexperienced manager. And all I'll say is the only way you get experience is to do the job. And the only way you get to manage sort of players of this quality is by doing it, learning from it and growing from it. But again, I do understand that point. The second point is the squad. And I saw a comment the other day saying that we bought poorly in the summer. And people are sort of saying, you know, we've bought all these players, we look a little bit top heavy and we don't know what to do with them. And you can understand that when you're seeing players sort of in and out the team, but more on the team selection side of things in just a bit. The squad is either top heavy or it was lopsided with defenders. 3 left backs is poor from the club, and 5 centre backs again is poor. There should be plans made, 1 in, 1 out sort of thing. You know, the general rule for a 25-man Premier League squad is 2 players for each position, 3 goalkeepers as a minimum, give or take. But it should be at least 2 players for each position, and then we go from there. I mean, I don't know how we ended up with 3 left backs, how we've ended up with 5 centre halves, even though Tomori's now gone on loan. All Frank Lampard, I guess, can do as a manager is look at the holes in our squad. And I think when we got to the end of last season, we all sort of looked around and said, right, we need another left back, we need a stronger left back, we need centre defender, we need somebody in midfield, we need wide players because we've lost Pedro, Willian, and we also need another striker. To be fair, he's gone to the board and he's asked for the players, and the board have gone out and got them for him. So in that respect, you can't really complain. I don't think the players are poor signings. I think they're good signings. I think Thiago Silva's key, or has been key, and you hope his experience will to pull the players out of this particular slump. And I think that the investment we've made on younger players in the squad, the likes of Chilwell, the likes of Havertz, Werner, Ziyech, will come good. It's just, will Frank Lampard get the time to work with those particular players over a sustained period? So I do understand why people are saying about the squad. What do you think about the squad as it was approaching the season and as it is now? Post your comments in the comments section. Team selection is another argument that people are sort of labelling at Frank Lampard, and you have to say at times it is surprising. The problem that Chelsea have got is you've never had the full strength first 11 to pick from, and I guess it's just players' availability. There's always been somebody injured, always been somebody that's sort of coming back from injury, so it's always going to be a difficult sort of time, and when you buy these new players, you know, you're faced with playing sort of 3 or 4 new faces in a team of 11. Whereas last year, you got a team there that's pretty much, everyone sort of knows each other. They've grown up with each other, like the academy boys. The first team have been together for a couple of seasons. They've seen these guys in and around the training pitch anyway, so they sort of knew each other. So the process of bedding in together was a lot quicker than it has been this season. And of course, with the whole COVID situation, it's never ideal. But in saying that, when it comes to picking a team, there's been times where you do sort of wonder, and I mean the Leicester game, for example, at the weekend, I know he's trying to keep players happy. I know maybe fatigue could be a part of it and people coming back from injuries. And that as a manager, you live and die by the teams that you pick. It's never going to be 100% what you personally want unless we're playing in full flow, winning games week in, week out, the same 11. You don't ever want to change your winning team. But the problem is Chelsea have not been winning and Frank's been searching for solutions. They haven't worked. So I do, again, understand why people are talking about the team selection. Probably one of the biggest arguments at the moment is tactics and people calling for changes. And I think it's sort of hand in hand with team selection as well, really. Does Frank Lampard know his best 11 at the moment? And that's the question that we all have to ask and we have to wonder. Do you, the Chelsea fans, sitting here watching this video and me talking to you right now, know the best, strongest 11 and the strongest formation to get the best out of the players? Frank has tried the 4-2-3-1. He's gone with the 3 centre-backs. He's done the 4-3-3 of late. In game recently, he switched to 4-4-2. And it's something that you know, he's spoken about not having a proper pre-season, but everybody's in the same boat. And you can only keep saying that for so long. This is what people are saying. And I do understand why they're saying that. We need to look at the situation. And I spoke about it in my match live commentary the other day, talking about Antonio Conte as the example, for example. He come into Chelsea and he looked at the players and said, okay, you carry on playing your 4-2-3-1, which was working to a point. And let's just see how you go. And for the first 9-10 games, it was fine. Till we took on Liverpool at home and we lost 2-1. Then we went to the Emirates and were 3-0 down to Arsenal at half-time, where at that point he said, right, this is what I think is going to get the best out of the players I've got. Made the switch to the back 3, and the rest was history for that season as far as Antonio Conte was concerned. Should Frank Lampard do that now? Should he look at the players that he's got and decide who are the strongest players in that squad and what's the best formation to get out of those particular players? There are some people saying that players are being shoehorned into a tactic to try and make it work. You do understand that there was injuries earlier in the season, and you're asking Werner and Havertz and others to do jobs in different roles in a tactical formation they're not suited to. But now you've got sort of the players, most of the players back fit. You need to decide on that particular formation and what your best 11 is. And that's probably an argument that's labelled at Frank Lampard at the minute. He doesn't know the best 11 or the strongest possible formation. For me, the 4-3-3 gives us a balance, but with the 4-3-3, you can't play Kai Havertz. That's where you're caught between a rock and a hard place, because the club record signing wouldn't be involved, which indicates a possible switch to 4-2-3-1. But then again, are we going to be balanced enough defensively in that formation? Finally, the 5th point is the in-game management at the moment is what a lot of people are talking about and saying that, you know, we're not managing games properly. We're making substitutions too late. Should be making them quickly, like half-time, for example, if things are not going our way. And I do understand it. I've said in my commentary a couple of times, I said it in the Fulham game that half-time changes should be made. Now we know they're down to 10 men. They weren't. I said it against Leicester at half-time. We were losing. We were poor and we needed to respond, and we didn't until about 15 minutes later. So that's an argument I understand, and I do agree with to a point. You want to be a manager that can react to in-game situations, and you want to be somebody that can influence the outcome of a game from on the side of the pitch. And maybe that's an area where Frank is still learning and will develop over time. But the question is all about time. Have you got time as a manager of Chelsea in the Premiership, in the Premier League, if you're beginning to slip down the table? And he hasn't. So it's an argument that people are saying about the in-game management, which I fully understand. And I just wanted to say, again, it's just these are some of the reasons that people are saying about Frank. It's the other side of the argument. I back Frank Lampard to get these sort of things right. He's a developing young manager, and he will be a top manager. And I sincerely hope he is given the time to turn things around. Again, just to reiterate these points, inexperienced manager, you can only get experience with actually having time doing the job. The squad, lopsided, but changes are beginning to be made with Tomori going. You'll probably see Marcus Alonso go in this window as well. Team selection needs to improve, and he needs to start playing the best players in the strongest possible formation once he can decide what that will be. And the in-game management needs to improve. Those are the areas that Frank Lampard is being heavily criticised on at the moment. He knows that better than anybody. We all can see it. We all watch the games week in, week out. And hopefully those areas improve over time. And we'll just hope he's given that time that he needs to turn it around. And I fully believe that he will. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You don't go 16 games unbeaten in all competitions, including Tottenham, Man U, and going to Seville and thumping them the way that we did with Giroud scoring 4 goals to be a complete disaster. So let's just have a little bit of perspective. This video is all about the other side of the argument from the pro side of things that I'm trying to champion this week on my channel. It's important that we recognise what people are actually saying. So let me know what you think about those particular areas, what people have been saying, and post your comment section. Drop a like on the video for me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss when my videos come out. I won't be doing a commentary tomorrow against Luton Town. It's a midday kickoff. It's on BBC in the UK, so make sure you watch that. I'll be back with a video tomorrow afternoon, evening, and back again on Monday as we build up to the Premier League restarting. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your Saturday evening, and I'll see you all tomorrow.